So if a business owner decided to go down the private equity route, how do private equity firms generally value a business?
So I would speak most specifically for MCM and the way we would approach the transaction, but I think the concepts are generally common throughout the industry. So most business owners have heard about a multiple of EBITDA as a very common means of valuing their enterprise.
Which is a very scary thing sometimes.
Right. So, the question is, what's the multiple? Is it 5 times EBITDA or is it 10 times EBITDA? And it's some of the other factors that impact where that multiple is likely to fall. And I'll elucidate a few of the things that we look at that dictate what we might pay for a business or value a business. So I would start off at a high level and say the overall market in which the company competes. Is it a growing market? Is it a contracting market? Is it a mature market? Mm-hmm. Is it a highly cyclical market? So, for example, in the medical device industry tends to be a non-cyclical market and therefore might command a higher multiple. And then you start to move to the specifics of the company itself. How is the company positioned within the market in which it competes? What's its defensible IP, if you will? And it doesn't have to be true IP, but technical know-how, et cetera. How's it positioned? In Buffett's nomenclature, he talks about the moat around the castle. So we start talking about what's the company's moat around its castle and how defensible is it? Mm-hmm.
And is it sustainable moving forward?
Correct. I guess the other things that we look at that are perhaps equally important is the depth and breadth of the management team. If you have a business and typically the businesses that we get involved with, the owner is the CEO and has been. He may have been the founder, in fact. Mm-hmm. So we look to how much managerial talent is there beyond that one individual, and if that individual is the primary customer contact, the primary engineering behind whatever the business is doing, that creates a little bit more risk centralized within one individual. So strength and breadth of management team, very important. And then I guess, we also look at certain financial attributes of the business. Mm-hmm. Its cash flow efficiency is important to us. So how quickly does the company turn a sale into a cash, mm-hmm. and how well does it manage its balance sheet in terms of CapEx requirements? For example, I'll start with that. If you're in a business, you could have two businesses that have the exact same EBITDA. One business requires $1 million a year in CapEx to support its business or operations on a go-forward basis, and the other requires half of that, $500,000. So clearly, the business that requires half as much CapEx is going to be more attractive to the investor community. And all those things, interplay, and different firms will value different attributes differently.
What should a business owner look for? Because there's many private equity firms out there. There's a ton of folks like us. What should a business owner be looking for in a partner? Because oftentimes it's very difficult to decipher, between firms.
Well, I would probably start with something soft, and it's very difficult to define and identify, but cultural fit is really important. And if there's not a cultural fit, there's a significantly increased chance for one party to be dissatisfied with the other party at some point in time post-transaction. So I think that's of a critical nature. But if I was painting with a broad brush, I would say, I would want, if I was a business owner, some value add to be brought to the table beyond, the greenbacks I'm going to be putting in an investment account somewhere. And so that can come in the form of a private equity firm that is experienced in dealing with companies of the seller's size. Mm-hmm. It could be coming from the perspective of the private equity fund having previously invested in the market in which the target is participating, and therefore as an experienced investor, whether it's aerospace or something of that ilk. So, you're really looking for some help in growing your business and making the business stronger on a go-forward basis.